Hi, class. So recently, I decided to revisit the Cooperwriter and Srivastava Newhart pieces through the lens of modern tools like ChatGPT and the evolving demands of, our contemporary workplace. So just to add a little more relevance to our class, I wanted to create a little video with a new take on these classic articles, and I'm curious what you think. When we look at these articles, my first thought is that Cooper Writer's insights take on a whole new meaning, especially given all of the new developments that are occurring in artificial intelligence. So, for instance, how do we ensure in an era dominated by algorithms that, like ChatGPT, for instance, and all of the others that follow, really capture the depth and richness of human interaction and optimism? So I have a few thoughts about this since I recently created a chat GPT for OD practitioners that cautions users about its limitations. It's free, and I'll include a link to it in my post for this week. So I actually have been very fortunate to speak with David Cooperwriter, and in a recent conversation, he mentioned that nature and biology have a very big influence on the work of people using appreciative inquiry. And it's interesting because artificial and nature are totally opposite, right? And then Newhart's articulation of appreciative inquiry as a life philosophy, something I hear from students all the time, especially at the end of this course, seems even more pertinent. It's Her article is really an invitation to imagine a world where technology doesn't just simplify, but also resonates with the optimistic side of our human nature. Um, and then think about like the shift to remote environments after COVID. If you think about that, that kind of it might give new life to Cooper Writer's emphasis on the positive facets of organizational transitions. There's a lot to appreciate about the work from home paradigm. I don't know how you all think about it, but particularly for introverts, single parents, and anybody who wants to blend work with life. So with Newhart framing appreciative inquiry as an essential tool for OD, I was prompted to think beyond the flip side. In other words, the immediate challenges of remote work. Perhaps there's more to it than meets the eye. Maybe it's not just about adapting, but actually thriving and celebrating unique opportunities that this whole work from home thing offers. So I'm curious what you all think about that. And then there's the intergenerational perspective. So I've got three kids, and I think about this all the time. And every time I read Newhart's depiction of AI, appreciative inquiry, I should say, as a global viewpoint, I'm reminded about the richness that diverse generational insights bring to the table. And that's kind of something that OD is known for, opening spaces where people can come and share their unabashed insights and diverse perspectives. So, one thing we can appreciate about all generations is that they're like a sort of symphony where each note, whether it's like an older note or a classical note or a new note, it all should contribute to a harmonious melody if we're doing our job correctly. And even sometimes the dissonance, if anybody studies music, even the dissonance that occurs between pieces of a composition are important, right? They're part of the story. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about a different look at Newhart's contrast between Newtonian thought, like Newton, and the more holistic approach of the new sciences, right? That feels even more resonant because as we all work to evolve organizations, if they haven't been forced to do it already, um, just recognizing that they're all still rooted in these very linear frameworks. Um, it's important to think about an appreciative lens for a more sort of interconnected and dynamic worldview, right? Something that's more generative versus fixed. And this is important because I consult to all kinds of organizations, and it's been my experience that we have not really yet transitioned in this way. But what's going to happen is advancements like artificial intelligence are going to speed this up tremendously. So not just in the next few years, but in the next few months. So anyway, ultimately, as I read these two particular pieces with new eyes, especially in this era of artificial intelligence, our advantage might not just lie in these sort of answers that we possess, but in the depth of the questions that we dare to ask. And I've always valued these texts that you've read, though revisiting them in our current context has really been enlightening. And I hope this adds a little bit of flavor to this week's assignments and stimulates new questions for you. All right, I'm looking forward to our continued dialogue, and thank you for listening.